don't have no felonies. I'm not crazy and none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, you know, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
He's been fighting for over 10 years, not just for answers, but for his identity. But now, Ramir Satwhite claims his journey to find the truth has led him straight into something far more dangerous. This is no longer just about DNA. According to Ramir, this is about fear tactics, power plays, and a calculated silence orchestrated by two of the biggest names in hip-hop. After years of chasing a paternity test from Jay-Z, the man he insists is his biological father, Ramir says he wasn't met with facts, but with force. Diddy's circle, he claims, stepped in with threats, not conversations. Legal obstacles piled up, and from the very beginning Ramir believes the system was set up to shut him down. What started as a personal mission has now erupted into a full-blown scandal, one that now entangles Jay-Z and Diddy in what Ramir calls a criminal conspiracy at the very top of the music industry.
Like they once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other, and yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been down.
In a newly filed legal document, Ramir just dropped a bomb that's sending ripples through the entire entertainment world. He says Diddy's people didn't come with lawyers or deals, they came with threats, over and over. The message, loud and clear: stop your search, leave Jay-Z alone, and walk away. But Ramir didn't, and now he claims he's pulling the curtain back on what he describes as a Brotherhood of Silence, a dark alliance between Jay-Z and Diddy that's allegedly built on fear, secrecy, and mutual For years, we saw them toast at exclusive brunches, throw over-the-top parties, and praise each other like family. But behind all that glam, Ramir says this bond functions more like a secret syndicate, one that doesn't just protect its own but works overtime to bury the truth and silence anyone who dares speak it.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
So what secrets are hiding beneath all this? Let's start with what Ramir says is happening right now. He claims Jay-Z isn't just watching Diddy's legal battles from the sidelines, he's allegedly getting involved. Sources close to say Jay-Z is helping fund Diddy's legal defense, paying off potential witnesses, and dispatching legal muscle to shut down critics, all while keeping his public image spotless. That's not loyalty, that's chess. And according to Ramir, it's all part of a bigger strategy to bury a past riddled with illegal acts, a past that's been protected for decades. Remember, Jay-Z has skillfully avoided the paternity issue for years. Back in 2010, when Ramir's mother, Wanda, pushed for a test, the case got bounced between courts, dismissed on technicalities, and delayed through what Ramir now calls deliberate sabotage. One of Jay-Z's attorneys even told the court he didn't own property in New Jersey, a statement she later admitted was false. In Ramir's latest filings, he's not calling it a slip-up, he's calling it fraud, and he says the court system let it slide. More than a decade later, those same attorneys are now facing accusations of obstruction and deceit in a case that from day one was never just about fatherhood. It was about keeping a young voice silent.
Never got anything, so why wouldn't I believe my mom? Like, you know, we could have been settled this, and it only takes a conversation and some words, you know. I'm not a hateful guy. I don't hate anyone. I'm not after nobody. I'm not trying to see no one downfall, but this is just some, you know, some things that just went through court, and they just expected me to just sit there and just take what they were saying. I can't do that, because.
But why? Wanda's sworn statement says she was only 16 when she allegedly got pregnant by Jay-Z back in 1992. That puts everything into a much darker context, legally and morally. If a DNA test ever confirms what Ramir believes, it could implicate Jay-Z in something far more serious. And that's just what's documented. Combine that with what's now unraveling around Diddy, and suddenly this so-called brotherhood looks less like friendship and more like a fortress. Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. These aren't casual collaborators, they've shielded each other through club shootings, criminal cases, and now major civil lawsuits. In fact, in 2000, both were allegedly present at the same infamous after-party where horrifying accusations involving a minor surfaced. The lawsuit names both men. Jay-Z denies it all and vows to expose anyone who challenges him. Diddy, he's stayed disturbingly silent. Behind closed doors, Ramir says Jay-Z is scrambling to preserve that silence. Interview clip: that's not really beef ... that's just competitive ... So you and Diddy, you and Puff Cool, no, I don't really, okay, damn, I didn't know that. The deeper we go, the more tangled it gets. From the 1999 club shooting that almost toppled Diddy's empire to the shady cover-up surrounding Jay-Z's alleged run-in with Lance Rivera, Ramir says these two have been moving through controversy like co-conspirators. Publicly, they're icons. Privately, Ramir paints them as untouchable kingpins, guarding not just reputations but devastating secrets. He calls it a machine driven by intimidation, protected by silence, and powered by more than just platinum records. And according to him, Diddy isn't even the boss, he's just the front.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
Because once you
tug at this thread, the whole fabric starts falling apart. Ramir's case, it's just the tip of something much bigger. More voices are surfacing, attorneys, insiders, even other alleged victims, all hinting at a deeper pattern. Whispered mentions of hush money, private investigators tailing anyone who knows too much, and NDAs handed out like candy. Some in the business say there's an unofficial blacklist, speak out against the wrong people, and your career is done. Others say careers aren't the only thing being erased. And then there's Aaliyah, one of the most iconic voices of her time, deeply connected to both men before her tragic 2001 plane crash. The rumors surrounding her have never truly gone silent. Some sound far-fetched, others uncomfortably possible. What if she knew things she was never meant to share? And what if her silence wasn't her choice? What if Ramir's right? What if this isn't petty drama or tabloid gossip? What if this is about an entire system built on control where the elite shield each other while the rest gets used up or spit out? When you start counting how many lawsuits are quietly settled, how many stories die before they trend, how many survivors are paid in to silence it, makes you question just how much of what we know is real and how much is just a perfectly staged illusion.
This is not just about me. If I gotta fight for all of us, I will, but I won't let the court systems just walk over me. I won't let Jay-Z, and I won't let no one just walk over me and tell me something because y'all just saying this. I want the truth. And if we can't go to the Supreme Courts, the regular courts, to find out the truth, what are they here for?
Yeah, all right, we'll get to the legal things that you've been through, the battles.
So here's what
That's exactly what Ramir says he's trying to break. He's not just pointing the finger at Jay-Z, he's yanking the curtain off the whole machine. Judges, lawyers, music executives, anyone who played a part in silencing this case. He's calling them out, and the backlash, it's been non-stop. Sealed court records, suspicious penalties, threats behind closed doors. Ramir says even the judicial system tried to erase him, but he's not backing down, because for him this fight isn't just personal anymore, it's about cracking open what he now calls an empire built entirely on deception.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint, and in a civil complaint it goes through the technical legal process. Now the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
And if that's true,
even a sliver of this turns out to be true, then what we're looking at isn't just one explosive case, it's a spotlight on how power really moves in the upper tiers of fame, where billionaires don't just lawyer up, they bring in full-scale fixers, where public apologies are scripted and private crimes are wiped away with wire transfers, where brotherhood isn't about love, it's about survival. And according to Ramir, this isn't even the full picture. Diddy, he says, is only the introduction, the visible tip of something much more sinister. Beneath that surface lies a system cold, calculated, and rooted in manipulation that doesn't just quiet people, it destroys them. Just look at that cryptic 50 Cent post, and we'll tell you exactly why 50 might be the only one playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Because behind every NDA and bribe is a strategy. Multiple insiders say it's all part of a terrifying manual. Untraceable phone calls, random cash offers, advice that's really a warning, and then total silence. Lawsuits vanish, witnesses disappear, and promising careers go dead overnight. One former ROC Nation assistant said it best, they don't need to threaten you, you just feel it, you know. That's why this isn't just about paternity. If they just wanted to shut Ramir up, they could have handled it quietly. But if what they're really protecting is a locked circle of power stretching from executive suites to VIP lounges, then suddenly, it all clicks. Sources tied to ongoing investigations say this isn't random. It's a consistent pattern, payouts, gag orders, and NDAs stacked like armor. And this fortress, it's not guarded by bodyguards, it's guarded by people with legal muscle, political ties, and decades of unspoken favors.
Now, with respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress.
It all starts to
It all starts making sense when you rewind to those infamous white parties, the glittering all-white Diddy extravaganzas from the early 2000s. Picture hip-hop meets The Great Gatsby, cameras flashing, celebrities in crisp linen, paparazzi lined at the gates. But insiders say the real story began after the cameras were gone. One former model who attended several parties told Page Six that when the lights dimmed and the crowd thinned out, the rules disappeared. Teenagers trying to look grown, eyes wide, nerves on edge, they didn't always seem like they knew where they were. These weren't just parties, they were audition grounds. Behind those Hamptons hedges and A-list smiles, stories began to build about manipulation, drugs passed without question, and cameras recording without permission. And now the FBI is reportedly eyeing those guest lists. Still, no official charges have touched the parties themselves, but the whispers, they're growing louder, and they're not just coming from former guests, but from security staff, stylists, even personal assistants.
Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood, specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California.
And where was
Jay-Z through all of this? Always nearby, always in step with Diddy, matching outfits, hopping off the private jet right behind him. At every event, they moved like a unit, swapping stage mics for champagne flutes, looking less like friends and more like coat-toners. But now, with lawsuits circling like vultures, that once powerful bond has turned into a glaring liability. Because if any part of these allegations holds weight, then that kind of closeness suggests shared secrets and, possibly, shared guilt.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men.
That's why Ramir's claims are hitting such a raw nerve. He's not just demanding a paternity test. He's targeting a power-structured one he says thrives on fear. And that's where the real question cuts deep. If this brotherhood truly exists, how many voices has it silenced already? This industry has a pattern: whistleblowers going dark, insiders suddenly retiring, influencers distancing themselves in eerie silence. Just look at the sudden unfollows, the cryptic captions, the strategic PR disappearances. We've seen this playbook before. When gossip becomes evidence, the silence always comes next.
They're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
It's no coincidence.
It's no accident that this storm hit right as Diddy found himself at the center of multiple lawsuits. One chilling accusation from a woman who says she was just 13 when she was assaulted claims Jay-Z was present. Her story is graphic, and her timeline is clear. Jay-Z denies it all and challenged her to press charges. But legal experts point out civil court is often the only path survivors have, especially when they're up against billionaires surrounded by legal fortresses. Jay-Z may claim these victims deserve real justice, but what happens when justice is blocked before it even begins? According to Ramir, that's the reality. Court records sealed without reason. Judges mysteriously removed, sanctions issued for breaking rules that didn't exist, and in some cases, it's not the accused who put up these walls, it's the system itself, which forces one chilling question. If two of hip-hop's most powerful men can allegedly manipulate courtrooms, silence victims, and rewrite reality, then what else have they been able to bury? There's one phrase that keeps echoing through court docs, Reddit posts, and late-night leaks: the Brotherhood of Silence. Sounds like fiction until you think about what it really implies. A pact between moguls, a shared code where image is everything, truth is a threat, and loyalty comes before all. Ramir says it's real. And even now, with lawsuits piling up, the silence is still louder than the screams.
I can only say as a father that I hope I instill with them the values that they would want to look for in a man. And I think I did when Beyonce wrote on her, I think it was her first album, maybe it was the second one, the song Daddy, that she hoped that she found someone just like her daddy.
And then there's
Then you zoom out and you see the bigger picture. This isn't just about Jay-Z. This is about an industry that still rewards gatekeepers, where the most powerful circles aren't just exclusive, they're dangerous. Speaking out doesn't get you applause, it gets you blackballed. We've watched it happen. 1 minute an artist is everywhere, the next their tour's cancelled. Their label won't return calls, and their name vanishes from playlists. And for the ones who cross the wrong people, they don't just disappear from charts, they disappear from the narrative entirely. So no, this isn't just about whether Jay-Z fathered a child. This is about whether two music giants built their legacy on silence and fear. And if that's true, then what's coming next isn't just another headline, it's a collapse waiting to happen. And hovering over all of it, one name that refuses to fade. Aaliyah. Her death wasn't just tragic. Some believe it reshaped the entire game. She was more than a star, she was a force. Someone who shifted the culture without even trying. And she had personal ties to both Jay-Z and Damon Dash. Some say she was already wary of the powerful world rising around her. So when she died, it wasn't just a loss, it was a power shift. And that lingering question, was her passing just a misfortune, or something much more calculated? Insiders have long whispered that her death was the moment certain powerful men realized what full control really looked like.
And now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law. But if true, it could rise to the level of criminality. And, we'll see what happens after the DA looks and investigates.
That theory might sound extreme until you dig into the conspiracy trails that followed. Whispers of blood sacrifice. Secret societies picking who stays, who rises, who vanishes. And those whispers, they didn't come from clickbait, they came from fans, insiders, and even former staffers who saw too many strange coincidences to ignore. Aaliyah dies in 2001 in a crash that didn't have to happen. Overloaded plane, a pilot with a revoked license, a flight no one needed to rush, and right after, Beyonce, another R&B prodigy, steps into the spotlight, Jay-Z by her side. Coincidence? Maybe. But for many, the timing feels engineered. To the Illuminati truthers, this wasn't just a tragedy, it was a signal. And whether you believe in secret societies or not, one thing's undeniable. The silence that followed. Jay-Z, who never shies away from major conversations, barely ever mentions Aaliyah, despite their connection, despite their overlapping worlds. And yet both he and Diddy benefited from the space her absence left behind. Careers skyrocketed. Power consolidated. Could her loss have been the key to locking down control? It's a theory no one can prove, but once you've heard it, it's hard to unhear, because if the Brotherhood of Silence is real, it's not just covering today's crimes, it may be burying ghosts from the past. So here's where we are. A lawsuit that could blow the lid off a carefully protected empire, or a final warning cry before everything gets silenced again. Ramir says he's not backing down, but history, it shows the system he's facing. That doesn't go down without a fight. And now it's your turn. Do you think this is the fall of a dynasty, or just another scandal that disappears like the rest? Drop your take in the comments. We're watching. And until next time, stay sharp, stay questioning, and remember, in this industry, the glitz is almost always hiding the grit.